The sky over Russia lit up like the 4th of July, a massive explosion, a fireball tumbling toward the ground, and then just silence. Russian social media went wild, Ukrainian channels claimed a historic first, and the headline screamed, "Ukraine's F-16 shot down Russia's most advanced fighter jet." It sounded like the perfect movie moment, a Western-supplied jet taking on Russia's pride in the air and winning. But what if I told you that the story is wrong, and the truth of what happened is even more terrifying? The world loved the F-16 victory story. It fit the narrative. The West gave Ukraine powerful jets, and now they were paying off. Even military experts were nodding in approval. Some media even added juicy details. An F-16, guided by a Swedish surveillance plane, locking onto the target from far away and firing an AMRAAM missile like something out of a Top Gun sequel. It sounded perfect. Too perfect. Because when you dig deeper, the story starts to fall apart. And what took down that Russian Su-35 wasn't an F-16 at all, but something else entirely. Ukraine's F-16 fleet? Tiny. We're talking smaller than a high school football team. Only about 10 operational jets at the time. And they weren't flying over Russian territory, not because they couldn't, but because losing one of these precious planes would be a disaster. Think about it. These aren't just any jets. They're hard to replace, expensive, and Ukraine's pilots had less than a year of training on them. The F-16 is a whole different beast compared to the Soviet-era MiGs and Sukhois they were used to. Switching to it is like asking someone who's only driven trucks their whole life to suddenly race Formula 1 cars in a live combat zone. And it's not just about flying. The tech integration takes time. Western fighters are built for networked, coordinated warfare. That's where tools like Link 16 come in. Basically the military's encrypted WhatsApp, where planes and radars share instant updates. But guess what? Reports say the US removed Link 16 from Ukraine's F-16s over fears the tech could fall into Russian hands. Without it, that Swedish surveillance plane couldn't simply hand over a target to an F-16 in real time. They'd have to rely on voice calls, and in the world of supersonic jets, a delay of just a few seconds can mean you're already too late. So no, this wasn't the perfect cinematic F-16 ambush. The real story starts earlier that morning. Somewhere in Western Russia, a Su-35 pilot, flying one of the most advanced fighter jets in Russia's arsenal, was getting ready for what he thought would be a routine patrol. Two massive Saturn engines roared to life, sending 35,000 pounds of Russian engineering down the runway. His mission? Patrol the skies near the border, look for any Ukrainian aircraft, and make sure Russian ground troops have cover. He was flying high, 27,000 feet, inside Russian territory, confident that nothing Ukraine could do could touch him there. His jet was loaded with advanced radar, thrust vectoring engines, electronic warfare pods, the works. If a Ukrainian fighter came his way, he believed he could outfly it, outshoot it, and get home in time for lunch. Then it happened. A loud, urgent tone screamed in his headset. His radar warning receiver told him someone had locked onto him. Somewhere out there, a radar was painting him for destruction. No problem, he thought. That's what countermeasures are for. He rolled the jet hard, pulling G-forces that could crush a normal human. His electronic warfare system kicked in, blasting out fake signals. He dumped chaff, thousands of tiny metallic strips to confuse any radar trying to track him. The alarm tone changed. The threat seemed to fade. He might have just dodged it. Then came the second sound, a different tone, sharper, more urgent. This wasn't a radar lock anymore. This was worse. This was the warning for a missile already in the air. He dove hard, flipping the jet inverted, pulling into a desperate maneuver to make the missile overshoot. Flares burst from his plane, each one burning harder than his engines to fool heat-seeking missiles. But this missile didn't care about heat. It had radar guidance, and it wasn't coming from another jet. What the Su-35 pilot didn't know was that hundreds of kilometers away, hidden inside Ukrainian territory, a Patriot missile battery had him in its sights. Yes, the same Patriot system the US sent to Ukraine in 2023. On paper, it's an air defense weapon. In reality, it's a long-range precision killer that turns the idea of air combat upside down. This wasn't a missile that needed to be told where to go every step of the way. This was a PAC-3 interceptor, the kind that thinks for itself in the final moments. Once it locked onto him, there was no escape. The missile closed in at over Mach 5, faster than a rifle bullet. The Su-35's insane maneuverability didn't matter. Its electronic jammers didn't matter. The proximity fuse triggered. The missile exploded, shredding the jet with fragments traveling faster than the speed of sound. The pilot yanked the ejection handle. Explosive bolts blew the canopy, and he was launched into the freezing air, watching as his untouchable fighter turned into a fireball. Here's the thing. Ukraine's military confirmed they'd taken down the Su-35, but they didn't say how, and that's not an accident. The less Russia knows about where Patriot batteries are and how they're being used, the better. If Russian pilots start believing F-16s are stalking them, that's fine. Fear is a weapon too. But the real game changer here is the strategy. The thing that sees you isn't the thing that kills you. The Patriot can strike from far beyond the reach of most Russian defenses, guided by a network of sensors that work together like one giant invisible trap. This wasn't just about one jet, it was a message. The age of flashy dogfights is dying. Air combat is becoming a chess game played across hundreds of kilometers, and where the losing side doesn't even know they're in danger until it's already too late. And the Patriot system has already proven it works, shooting down Russian aircraft before, even one of their valuable A-50 airborne early warning planes. For Ukraine, every successful hit like this is huge. Russia can build more planes, sure, but losing experienced pilots and advanced jets hurts more than any propaganda victory. The media might still run with the F-16 kills Russian jet story because, let's be honest, it sells better. Fighter jets are cooler to put in a YouTube thumbnail than a missile truck hidden in a field. But the truth? The real story is about technology, planning, and patience. Now, modern air warfare is less about who can pull the hardest turn and more about who can connect the right sensors to the right weapons at the right time. The Patriot isn't glamorous. It doesn't roar overhead with afterburners. But it's quietly rewriting the rules of the battlefield. So here's my question for you. Is this the future of air combat? Are we heading into a world where pilots are just targets waiting to be picked off by invisible weapons? Or do you think the dogfight will make a comeback when both sides have tech like this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. And if you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that like button so more people see the real story behind the headlines. Oh, and make sure you're subscribed, because next time we're diving into another high-tech battlefield twist you won't hear on the evening news.